Do you have any question from yesterday, day before yesterday? Do you have any questions, guys? No, I think I consider no. If no one is unmuting, so I'll consider no. Okay, so let's move on. Let me start the recording. So I'm starting the recording of the session. So you will have the recording. Just a minute. I'll just replying one message. So okay. So let's start what we have left yesterday. We have just went through the introduction of virtual machine. What is virtual machine and why we are using that virtual machine, right? So let me share my presentation so you can understand storage. Okay, where is my presentation? It's opening. Okay, something's went wrong. It is not opening. Yeah. All right. So what we have seen yesterday, we have seen that we can deploy a Linux machine in Azure. We can deploy a Windows machine in Azure, and also we can bring the image. We have talked. We have we have we can bring our own image we have talked about yes in a few session back. What is the image? And we have seen that how to install from the image any virtual machine on physical laptop Hyper-V. So we can bring our own image or we can use Azure provided image. This two option is there. And I have shown you that how we can connect to Azure image. So I this is what we have went through that when we click on create virtual machine and we saw that there is a list of the image will be available. This is all images are provided by Azure. All right. Now coming to next point, that what are the things we can deploy on Azure and what are the things we cannot deploy Azure. Apart from that, what should be a planning of deploying virtual machine. So before deploying virtual machine, first thing we need to consider that do we really need to go on IaaS solution, infrastructure as a solution, or we can think on offloading workload to PaaS service, SaaS service. So that also need to consider from the customer's perspective. So let's say that customer says that I want to host a website. So we can suggest that oh, why you want to if you want to just want to host a website, so you can go for the PaaS service, right? So it is completely IaaS will be running over there. Web server will be running in the virtual machine. You don't need to run virtual machine or maintain virtual machine. It will be keep running 24/7. All right. So that will be a scenario that or might be someone say that I want to store the database. So you will say that if you want to just want to store the database, why you want to go for virtual machine solution? You can have a database ready in a PaaS service, right? That you can use it as a PaaS service. Or if someone says that I want to have it email service, you can suggest that go for the SaaS service, software as a service, right? But some scenarios or most of the scenarios, what happened that customer says that okay, I can see that there's a SaaS service, there's a PaaS service, but still I wanted to go for IaaS virtual machine based solution because my application is legacy application I cannot or sometimes I cannot trust on shared services. I wanted to have my own virtual machine. So that scenario will go for the IaaS as a solution. All right. So before starting IaaS, first what we need to understand that network, virtual network. All right. What is virtual network, guys? Anyone knows? Anyone knows what is virtual network? So if you remember, I have explained you what is private network, what is public network. Did you remember, guys? Right? So in the private network, I have an office. This is my office. All right. So all the machine which I'm deploying here in my office, no, not right now in cloud. So that will have a private IPs. All right. Those will be having a private IPs. So, but these private IPs are provided by some device. So last time what we have seen that the device was something called switch, yeah, switch, or if you are at home, so it will be your router, Wi-Fi router, right? So this will be a device will be providing you IPs, and you are connected with your device. So this has become one network, and what we call this network, if you guys remember, LAN network, right? Local area network. LAN stand for local area net, right? So this is what we are connected, local area network. So this is a physical cable we pull out. But in Azure, when we're deploying the stuff, we don't have the physical cables. So that for that we are using, let's say that this is my cloud. Okay, I just spoke this symbol. This is my cloud technology. All right. And in this cloud technology, I want to connect virtual machine each other. I wanted to have IPs. All right. So I required some network, some LAN connection. So we don't call it LAN, we call it here virtual network. This is the network itself, similar kind of a network, but this is not a physical network. This is a virtual, so we call it virtual network. All right. So from the virtual network, I'll define that my virtual network IP range will be 192.168.0.0/24. So this will be 24 IP range, or might be I can have another virtual network in my subscription or in my Azure network that can be 10 series/24. So this will be another virtual network that will containing another virtual machines, different network virtual machine. We'll talk that what's the difference between these two virtual network, and if they want to communicate each other, how we can communicate each other. We'll see later. But thing is that I'll just consider as of now one network. All right. So first thing what I required a network where I can deploy my virtual machine. So I'm planning to deploy virtual machine. The first thing I need to look for the network, which network I want to deploy. So in general in the market, what happened? Let me clear out the screen. So let's say that this is my Azure or any organization on is it on premises or Azure doesn't matter. Generally, we have multiple networks in my office, in my LAN area or my or network area. All right. I have multiple networks. What are those networks? Some are the production networks, some are the development networks, some are the UAT. UAT stand for user acceptance test. So that is a test network, right? Those can be a network available in my environment, whether it's physical or whether it's virtual on a cloud, right? Or sometimes we segregate networks based on our applications. Let's say that this is my web network, or we further divide that network called subnets. So I wanted to have a production network, but in the production I want to divide that network into website network, So we call it subnet. All right. So there will be database subnet within prod itself. So I can easily manage it. So I can have multiple subnets or multiple networks. All right. Possibly I can have various application network. Let's say that I wanted to have. All right, let's leave it that part. So I can have a production network. I can have a development network. I can have UAT network. And further, network can be divided into subnets. We call it subnets, web subnet, DB subnets. Those can be a further segmentation of my network. All right. So let's see that how we can create a network quickly. I just giving it a little bit exposure. We are not going to create. We are not going to understand network as of now. There's a complete session on the understanding network. So how do I create a network? I'll go on three lines, all services, and I'll go for that networking. In the networking, I'll see that virtual network, right? I might have already a virtual network, but I can create a new virtual network. So let me create a new network. So first thing we need to provide a resource group. If I don't have a specific resource group, I'll create a new resource group. Or I can choose the existing resource group that we know that last time we have seen that. Now I need to give a name of networks. I'll say that prod, or let's say that development network for the classes, right? And where I want to keep it this network, I just choose a region, right? So region is most important thing because all my virtual machine will get deployed based on the region. So all network will be based on the region. So usually we prefer to have a same regions for all my resources. If I go for Central US. So all virtual machine been in Central US. Next, what I need to give an IP range for my network. So let's say that I'll keep it this network range. So this will be going to provide me, all right, from, if you can see that IP range is 10.0.0 to 10.255. 255 IPs I'll get it in this network. Further, I wanted to have a subnet. So from this network 24, I will be dividing my network, this development network called web subnet, web hyphen subnet, right? I'm dividing that sub network to my further segmentation. Let's say that 28. So this will be my one subnet. I'll be creating another subnet called application. Don't worry if you don't understand right now, but it is just I'm creating a network here. 28 will be start from 16. All right. So I have created further segmentation of my this network. This is further subnets. We call it subnet. Now I'll go next and create my network. All right. It's creating a network. All right. So let's we have created dev classes, development network for the classes, and further this IP range will be this IP range from 255 IPs. I'll get it, and I have further segmented this IP range to subnet that will be have different network range. So this will be a different range. So what I have done, I just give it to example. This is my IP range. I have created one VNet, the big VNet. All right, and in VNet IP range will be this. IP range will be this, and this is I further segmented to different subnets. So I'll go on subnets. So this will be further segmentation. So this out of this IPs, I start from 0.0 till the 15, and this will be another subnet. Right. All right. So I have still more IPs available in this one network. Right. I have still IPs available in the network from 32 to 255 still available. So this IP is still left out for the subnetting. Make sense, guys? Any questions here? Any question, Ravi? Okay, perfect. If you don't have a question. So now when I'm deploying virtual machine, next is that naming convention. So I have deployed my networks and I'll be deploying virtual machine whether I choose this network or this network. That is up to me. So I'll be choosing naming convention later on. So after creating virtual machine, naming convention is one of our important things. Let's consider that every virtual machine which I am deploying right now in my network, all will be having a name called VM1. VM1 for website, VM1 for the VM2 for the database, alright, VM3 for my application. All right. So this is, I know that this is website, this is a database, and that is application. And let's say that I have plenty of virtual machine, 100 virtual machine, 1,000 virtual machine, call VM1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that will be really difficult to understand that what is my virtual machine and where is this location and what the purpose of virtual machine. So I'll be generally having a proper name of my virtual machine, specifying the location. So Microsoft give us the some documentation for naming convention. So they provide a guidance for naming conventions. So let's say that I'll just go for Azure naming convention examples. So they have given some guidelines. Not necessarily we need to follow that same guidelines. It can be possible guidelines, or you, if you don't prefer to that, you can make your own. So simply they have given you idea. It's just a recommendation that types of resource you can mention that if it's public IP you can mention PIP public IP. Then we will mention the workload, whether it's website, database, is it a production environment, which location, and number of count of instance. That we can define a naming convention. And if you want to see further examples, they have given examples in down. All right, they have given examples here. So let's say that we wanted to have virtual machine, or we wanted to have virtual network. We'll say that VNet, shared network, or prod network, West US 01. This can be our naming convention. Then we'll deploy virtual machine. So let's say that this virtual machine name will be VM AVI something called be prod network and 01. So this can be a naming convention. All right. So we are considering naming convention based on our demand. So but we need to consider the naming convention. Make sure make sense, guys. So naming convention should be like self-explanatory. We'll see the name and we'll so you should understand that. So let me give example. US is to hyphen. Can you tell me that what this defines name of resource? What is defined? Can you anyone tell me what it says that? What type of? Yes, yes. So okay. So this is my production virtual machine containing website, web server, and this is virtual machine one. I can be have virtual machine two. I can have virtual machine 2, 3. If this is same website, will virtual machine will be there. And this is my location of virtual machine, East US location. If I just deploy that, I'll have it like this. Uh, Central IN, Central India, development DB01. So this will be Central India virtual machine I have deployed in Central India, and that will be development virtual machine, database virtual machine, and VM1 will be there. First VM for database. Make sense, guys? Okay. Let me try once more. What could be this possible? I'll just say that PIP will be my public IP. Anyone, guys? West. Yeah. You can say the West Europe production, web service, and public IP will be there. So this is a naming convention we need to consider. For naming convention is important. So I just give you an example how should be naming convention. Not necessarily you should follow the same, but I just saying that the naming convention should be self-explanatory, so you can understand by seeing the resource name. That's what I'm raising a point here. So let's yes, I have given PIP, which is nothing but a public IP. It can be possible we can create a public IP ourselves. This can possible. We'll see that how we can apply the public IP if we don't have virtual machine on the public IP attached. So I'll just go on that document. I'll just show you. So if I just go on naming convention health abbreviations. So Microsoft have given us types of abbreviation. Let's say that if you want to have API, management API, so API M, they have given if you want to have a public IP, let's say that where is public IP. That public IP, they say that PIP, if it's a private link, so PL, they have given a little bit guidance on naming convention. Not necessary you have to follow the same, but people follow almost similar because it's pretty helpful. Already naming abbreviations already defined here. All right, I'll just put it in our chat group so it will be easy for you. So this could be possible naming convention, and the previous one we are just having the framework. So you can use your own framework, but it is just help you out for having a framework. All right, let's come back to our presentation. After naming conventions, once you decided, you need to decide a location where you want to deploy virtual machine. Where you want to deploy. So in Azure, we can deploy the virtual machine on various locations, right? I'll just show you that what are the locations available. Every region is available for deployment of virtual machine. But how do you choose that where we need to deploy virtual machine, right? If I just click on regions, I can see that there is a 60 plus regions available. Various location will be available. But how do we decide that where we need to keep a virtual machine? Anyone? Yes. So first thing, what will be considered that near to us. So near to us, which means not near to not me, not to you. It is near to end user. Near to end user. Who will be my end user? Who is going to use my? Let's say that if it's a website. So who are I'm catering India people or I'm catering the US people. My client is India client. My client is Europe client, right? Based on that, end users, near to you end users locations. All right, this could be a end user. Second thing, what you will consider that, what will be another things you consider for location? Yeah, so everything. No, so when you deploying virtual machine, it is not only deploy virtual machine, resource group network should be all will be in the same network, same region. So we are deciding a region, complete region. So let me give example. Okay, my complete structure will be in some region. So I'll just give it to. Alright, just giving a diagram, reference diagram, any diagram. Let's say that. Let's see any of workload. Let's say that I'll go for quickly, which is easy to understand. I'll go for virtual machine, Azure, and I'll go for my web. All right. Can you see that all our regions are defined? Not here. It's they haven't defined the regions, or they have defined. Okay. This in this diagram they haven't defined. Let me go on another diagram. This is pretty good one example. So this will be my. So if you can see that my virtual machine, all virtual machine, and then there will be a network. This is my subnet. Then I have a network. Then I have a various resources. All will be location will be predefined. All will be in the same locations. And if I have a different networks, I can define a different networks here, different region, right? So I need to define all will be all together. So region is important, location is important. All right. So what will be considered that when we are deciding location and region? One will be near to end users. Another will be what are the things you will consider? Availability, availability of resources. So I wanted to have it the some service that should be available in that specific. It's okay. Virtual machine will be available all region, but other services that should be available in same region. Okay, and let me close my window. All right. So availability of resource, let's say that I wanted to have some database. That database should be available if I decide the region, or I wanted to have a virtual desktop. All right, I am okay with the virtual machine. Virtual machine will be available, but I want to connect other services also, desktop services, database services. So that should be available in that specific region that we need to look for. All right. Third thing is costing. Costing is one of the important factor for choosing a region. So every region will have a different costing. There will be a little bit change almost. Let's say that this in one region in US East 2 region it is costing me X amount, and but in West US it will cost me X plus 5 rupees, right? That could be possible. Or might be in India, same service in a central India, it will be X plus 10 rupees possible. So we need to look for the costing also. And fourth is important one is compliance. What is compliance, guys? What is compliance? Yes, so policies. So what policies? So every country, every industry have their policies. So they need to fulfill the compliance. Let's say that if you are wanted to get a Europe customer, right? And the Europe have one policy or one compliance called GDPR. GDPR. You might be listening a lot of times Mark Zuckerberg or Google or Facebook. They are came in a picture and they says that they are stealing our data. So they have created a compliance that you cannot steal the data. You cannot take the country. Let's say that another example. We have our country, India, have banned PUBG and TikTok. Why they have banned PUBG and TikTok? Because the the companies are storing that user profile and user use data in China, and we don't feel comfortable with the China, so our compliance policy doesn't allow to store our user record in the China. So that is called compliance. Every company have a different compliance. Let's say that if it is a pharmaceutical company, will follow the HIPAA compliance. If it is a finance company, will go following the FINRA compliance. So compliance is nothing but a rules and regulation. Or sometimes let's say that it is India based financial company, we follow the SEBI compliance or RBI compliance, right? So those are the compliance rule defined by some organization that should be fulfilled. So that's what location is important. Make sense, guys? So why location is important? Deploying the virtual machine for the practice, it's okay. We can deploy anywhere. But in the office, in the production environment, in the real life scenario, we need to consider the location. First is near to end users or near to on-premises data center. On-premises data center. If we want to connect to on-premises data center, that's what we need to consider. All right, guys. Next is after location we need to look for the sizing. So let's move on further understanding the location and pricing, and sizing we'll see later on. Okay, location. Each region have a different hardware, services, capabilities. That's why we need to look for the locations. Locations of virtual machine as close as possible to end users, your users. Virtual machine should be ensured with compliance and legal obligations, right? That is need to be considered when we are choosing our locations. Then finally we need to consider the pricing. The cost of compute power will be very different location, and storage of consumption that will be variable. So we will have it 60 plus location, not 20 54. We have now 60 plus location available where we can deploy the Azure resources. Right. Now coming to size, so Azure provide a basic tier and the standard tier. In the basic tier, we have a basic virtual machine that is generally people don't use. We use on standard tier. In standard tier, we have different series: A series, B series, D series. So those are the series of virtual machine. So series nothing but a different hardware. There will be have different hardware and backend. So that's what a series get changed. So with what are the series will be available in Azure? Will be having A series, which is low cost, AV2, that's a low cost but new version will be available. Then there will be D series fast compute. In there will be a next version DV2. Then DV3 next compared to DV2. Then we have recently have DV4 also. Then F series fast compute with low pricing. Then we'll have NVIDIA N series, NC series, NVIDIA card with NVIDIA different card. Then we have high memory card perspective cards. Then we have high memory another high memory perspective virtual machine. So those will be different sizes of virtual machine, different types of hardware of virtual machine. Sorry, not sizes, hardware, not sizes. Sizes will be available each virtual machine. Make sense, guys? All right. So where we can see that sizes, let me go on. Look for Azure virtual machine sizes. I'll just show you first Azure compute sizes. So those are the various categories based on the sizing. If you want to deploy general purpose computer, so we'll have the B2, B3, those are the sizes, we'll choose that. If you want to have compute optimized, you will go for F series. If you want to go for memory optimized, you will go for E series and M series. So let's go on general purpose computer. What could be there? So let's say that I want to deploy in A series or I want to deploy in B series. So those will be available. Let's say that D series will be having the EMD processor, and this series will be having the Intel processor. So those hardware will be get changed in the backend. And if I click further, I'll be see the various size will be available. 2 core 8 GB RAM, 2 core 4 core 16 4 GB RAM within the D series size. So same will be available on the B series size. So B series also have 1 core, 2 core, 3 core, 4 core, but the hardware will get changed. Make sense, guys? All right, just give me 1 second. I'll be there's some message I need to kind of check it out. Just give me 1 second. Let me do some work. So this is a Linux machine. I'm doing someone have messaged me that he's not able to access something which I'm testing right now. It does. Okay, this is the stop state. I need to start. Okay. All right. So where we can see the sizes. So this is a virtual machine we are running right now, and if I go on. Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me, guys? Okay, sorry, there's a network glitch, so I got disconnected. So this is washing machine I was talking about, and the washing machine will having a various size. I'll just click on size. I can see here various size will be available. So I'll just go on, just show you the various size. So those are the size. You can see that there's a different series. B series will having the 2 core, 1 core, 16 core. Those size will be available, and here will be pricing will be listed with the respective to pricing. And even in, it's the same. I can see the 2 core 8 GB RAM, but it is costing me 5,900 per month. Whereas same I can see that 2 core 8 GB RAM that is costing me 4,000 rupees. So different sizing will have a different pricing. All right. So this is a different sizing available on Azure. All right. And there is a special washing machine with special size is available, which are and with S. You can find out S always there. Else S S. So this is same D. You can find out a D here, but there is no S. So when you apply the S, DS or FS or GS, LS in perspective to the previous image G and F, so you will those washing machine will be supporting premium storage. What is the premium storage? We'll see later on. But those washing machine are standing with S is support with premium storage. All right. So I'll just show on the portal. So let's say that not this one. It is our portal page. Yeah. I'll go on washing machine. If I click on size, so right now I can see that B, S, S, S series. Those are the S series. Alright, let me go on B. So I can find out the B series in the BS. All are S series this one. And if I go on D series, so I can see that there is a DS also and DS. There's a normal D also, sometime a DS series also. So there's a various series will be there who support the premium storage. Alright. So this is same chart which I was talking about. Before selecting washing machine size, we need to consider what kind of a workload I'm doing right now. Is it testing workload? It is the compute require more compute, or it is required more memory? That all I need to consider, right? Yes, yes, yes. When we're creating washing machine, we need to set the size. We need to decide the size, and after creating washing machine, sorry. Yes, yes, we have to create and we have to select the size. Based on the washing machine size, it will be cost will get changed. All right. Yes, yes, we selected a size. We selected a size, and after creating washing machine, we can change the size also. That can possible. So where we selected, I'll just show you right now. Right now, when we creating washing machine, create washing machine, we choose the region. After choosing a region, we choose the image. After choosing image, we choose the size. So there's various size will be available, and so you can see the different pricing also of that virtual machine. This is per month basis pricing. All right. So when we selected the virtual machine size, after selecting virtual machine size, we need to consider the disk. So every virtual machine have. So when we are deploying virtual machine, let me go on deploying virtual machine tab. So let's say that I have taken up decided a region, look network. I have decided network. After deciding network, I decided the region, and after that, I'll decided the name. All right. Now I decided the washing machine size. Yes. After, yeah, region is location. Yeah, location is the region. Then and after that, I need to decide a disk whether I want to have a virtual machine data disk or not data disk. All right. So whenever I'm deploying virtual machine, OS disk, OS disk will be definitely there. It is kind of mandatory because all the operating system will get installed in the OS disk, right? But for the data disk, it's optional. Data disk will be optional. So what is the data disk? What is the OS disk? So if you guys remember, I have shown you that if I go on this is my laptop. So my laptop will be having multiple partitions, right? We have seen the partition. The first partition is always called OS partition. Yes, where I generally have the program files, Windows files. So this is called OS partition. So Azure, what Azure do that? Azure keep entire disks for C drive. There's no partition further. It's a complete disk for the C drive. And data disk where I keep my other datas. OneDrive, Submit folder, Terraform practices, all will be I stored in the different partitions. That is called data disk, right? So OS disk will be mandatory, and the data disk will be optional. All right. And apart from that, there will be something called temporary disk. All right, temporary disk I'll talk on later about in details. So let's go on our portal. All right. So when we decide, so there is a virtual machine disk, OS disk that are connected with a SATA drive, generally labeled as a C drive in Windows. All right, and it's a Linux, then it will be slash. And there's a temporary disk which provide for short-term storage. And if you reboot the virtual machine, the temporary disk will be data will be get deleted. It will hold until you have it a data for for temporary purpose. It until unless you reboot the virtual machine, data will be there. But once you reboot the virtual machine, data will be get deleted. That is called temporary disk. And another disk type is data disk, that is iSCSI data, depends on your virtual machine type. You can have various types of data disk, and number of data disks you will decide it. So that is what we have in Azure. All right. So let's understand what how the Azure infrastructure works. So if you guys remember when I was talking about a physical machine in data center, this is my physical machine. All right, and that contains a plenty of hardwares. What are the hardwares they contains? CPU, CPU, RAM, network, and the disk. Right? This is the physical hardware. On the top of that hardware, I am having a virtual machine. On the top of that, I will having a virtual machine. Right? So this virtual machine, multiple virtual machine, I'll have it here. This will be my virtual machine. This virtual machine will be having the virtual CPU. Then it will be having virtual disk and virtual network. All right. So those will be are using from my virtual machine, right? Virtual network. Let's say that this hardware goes down. This entire hardware goes down. Will this virtual machine will be available? No. So how do I overcome this problem? What I'll do that, or what is generally in the practice, that they deploy multiple hardwares. All right, and okay, let me draw it again. Here I'll be having multiple virtual machines, right? So this will be containing a virtual machine, this will be containing virtual machine, this will be containing virtual machine. So this is my complete data center. All right. What will happen if my hardware goes down? This hardware goes down, or this hardware goes down. Will inside virtual machine be available? And what I said last time, that each hardware contains approximately 30 virtual 25 virtual machine. So there will be a 20 virtual machine 25 virtual machine loss, there will be 25 virtual machine business loss. There's a huge business loss if one hardware goes down. All right. So I wanted to make sure that my hardware should be available and my virtual machine should be available. So if I keep it the disk, I'm using a CPU memory from here, physical CPU from here, physical CPU memory from here itself. But if I keep it my data in my disk, which is a Azure, which is a physical disk, if I keep it here, and if this hardware goes down, so what will happen? I will stop getting the virtual machine. My all the OS data, my data, OS disk or data disk will be get stored here. Because of this hardware is down, my all the data will be also get stuck. Right? Right? If what I can do that, if there's another solution, I'll be having some kind of a storage solution. This is called storage box. Storage box, or sometimes we call it sandbox. Okay, this is kind of a sandbox storage box which provide nothing but only disk. Here will be having thousand of hundred of disks will be attached to this. So there will all will be a disk. They don't provide compute power, they don't provide any other purpose, only just providing a disk storage. All will be a disk here, right? So rather than storing my operating system in this disk, I'll be storing here my OS. All right, I'll be storing my data. Data disk will be here. All right, all stuff will be get stored rather than physical server on this storage data. This all OS this will be get stored. None of our data will be storing on my physical box. All are getting stored here, right? This is a kind of special box called stand storage box. And let's say that this hardware goes down, my definitely virtual machine goes down, but my OS disk which is containing my data is available, my data is available. What I can do that, I create a virtual machine here and connect OS disk, connect data disk, so I'll get my data quickly. Got to your point, my guys? Right? So I'm earlier I'm using compute power from here, now I'm using compute from here, but my data is still there. Since I'm storing data outside, so my data will be there. Make sense? So let's say that this hardware also goes down, some XYZ reason, I can create a virtual machine quickly here. Or there's a service called vMotions, which keep the records of all virtual machine all together. They are connected all together and keeping a record of virtual machine. So quickly, automatically they create a virtual machine in other hardware and automatically get connected to that storage. Automatically get connected to that storage. All right. So even this is got deleted. this machine hardware is not available, it is automatically get connect to my storage data and my data will be available. And this virtual machine will be as it is as it was running on previous virtual machine. There will be downtime, let's say that 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but that is acceptable rather than having entire day downtime. Right guys, any questions here? Yes. So yeah, so storage or yeah, no, backup is something else. Backup is something when you take. So if you go on virtual machine, there is the options called storage disk, right? I can see that my disk name. This is my disk. So let's say that let me go on this virtual machine. This is in use. This is my disk name is FTP recovered OS disk and this date. So what I'll do that I'll be delete this virtual machine. Let's say that I've deleted virtual machine. Okay. So this means that virtual machine is not available. So this virtual machine will not available after deleting the virtual machine, right? This virtual machine got deleted, but my data will be available in the disk service. If I go here in as a disk service, I can see that this is my OS disk, which is was attached. I can simply create a virtual machine from here, and I'll get the data quickly. So I'll just say that FTP. Alright, whatever I name I can give it. I just create a disk. From that disk my data was there, whatever data was stored there, I can have it my virtual machine ready. All right, I just creating virtual machine from that disk. Will be take 5 minutes to get it the data. Virtual machine will ready, and after the 5 minutes my data will be ready, and I'll connect that virtual machine and show you that some one file I have created that will be available. All right, let it create, meanwhile we'll go ahead. So generally what happened that in Azure, we call it that hardware, we call it node. And on a node, I having the virtual machine. And the virtual machine data is not storing on that physical box via this physical storage. I'm storing and somewhere in remote location. That is called Azure storage as a disk service. Got it, guys? This comes in on the same resource group. Yeah, virtual machine is a resource. This is also resource. Yeah, virtual machine is a resource and this also a resource. So everything is will be in a resource. In Azure, what will happen that I will having a virtual machine. I think last time I explained you that. Let's say that I having a virtual machine. This is not an individual virtual machine. This is a combination of the compute power. That compute is get it from the node. Then I'll be having the network. So network I got it from virtual network, VNet, which is I just created. Then I'll have a disk. This will get stored. This will be having from the Azure storage. All right, and all those things are combined together. This is called metadata. Metadata is nothing but a configuration file that keeps a record which virtual machine node I kept it, which virtual network my virtual machine was there, which storage this was created, and what is the storage disk name. This all configuration record will be get stored in metadata. We generally don't see the metadata. Metadata is stored in backend of Azure. In all those combinations, we'll call it virtual machine. We call it virtual machine. Make sense, guys? All right. So this is a combination of virtual machine. So this is I am talking about node, and this is another resource called disk. All right. So I think my virtual machine will be ready. See if you can see that this virtual machine is ready, and that disk will be attached with the previous disk. Same FTP recovered, OS disk, and some date will be there. I want just now I have created virtual machine. I want to see that my data is available or not. I'll just connect this virtual machine. I'll copy the public IP, go with, since it's a Linux machine, I am connecting with a putty service. I'm providing I haven't given username and password. If you guys remember that, I haven't given a username and password. I'm using previous username and password because that's supposed to be get stored, right? Now, once I connect it, I'll running a command called lfs ls-l. I can see that there is some test file which I created in my previous machine after before deleting. So this is available, and if I just run that, it says that this is a test file for the backup testing. This is what I have created very long back. Make sense, guys? So even virtual machine deleted, my disk will be still there, and I can create virtual machine out of that. Until unless I delete my storage from this sandbox. Let's say that I have deleted this virtual machine. This virtual machine has been deleted. So I just deleted the compute power. Disk is still there. I can recreate virtual machine in different box, and I can connect this box to this storage. I'll get all the data which was stored earlier. But if I delete the virtual machine and after that I delete the data disk, that can possible. I can delete the disk. So I lost the data now. I completely lost my data. Make sense, guys? All right. So this is what I was talking about before creating virtual machine. I have operating system disk and data disk. All operating system and data will be stored on Azure location, Azure storage account. So all this will be one of a service. So let me show you that I'll be creating new virtual machine disk. So this is my virtual machine, right? FTP. Now I'm creating a new disk. That will be data disk. This is the data disk. This is OS disk. So I was talking about. I'm creating a new disk. I'm giving let's say that FTP demo data disk. I'm creating giving a name. Then I'll choosing the disk type. I'll come to that point later on. What is this type? And defining size of my disk. I'll just click on save. Alright, this has been created. If I go on virtual machine, I can see that this is attached. Alright, there's a two disks. One is a data disk. This is a name, and this is OS disk. And if I go on disk service, I can see there's one more disk has been created. Can you see that, guys? If I delete this disk, if I want to delete this disk, I can delete the disk, but it's right now connected, so I have to detach the disk from Azure. So from the virtual machine, I'll just go here, go on disk, and detach from here. Cross. This is the detachment, and just save it. Did I delete disk? No, no, no. I haven't deleted. I just delete the connections. So if it is data disk was connected, I just deleted the data disk connections. The disk data is still there. data disk is still there. I can, what I can do that, okay, it is has been removed from my OS disk. If I go here, I just see that there's no not attached. If I go here and click on disk service, I still see the disk. If I click here and see that no one is managed by disk, this is currently no one is managing. Disk is there, but no one is connected to disk. So now I can connect this disk. I can connect to this virtual machine or this virtual machine. I can connect anywhere. So I'm just this time I'm connecting to FTP test. I'll go here and say that rather than creating a new disk, I'll just say that attach existing disk. It will show me that this one which I want to attach. Now earlier this was the part of this virtual machine, recover virtual machine. Now this is a part of the test virtual machine. So what I did, I just disconnect from here and connected this virtual machine. Got my point, guys? Pakka. All right. So this means that I can my data disk is stored out of the my box, out of the my physical machine. This is my physical machine. This is my physical machine. My data disk and OS disk is stored out of the physical machine. But the temporary data which I stored in my physical machine. That's why I reboot the whenever I reboot the virtual machine, there's a chance or delete the virtual machine. There's a chance I won't get my temporary data. Make sense, guys? So we'll deploy one virtual machine. So far, I have talked a lot of theoretical. Now let's go on practical. I am right now deploying one virtual machine. I'll go here in all services, compute service, virtual machine, click on create new virtual machine. I am choosing my subscription, choosing my resource group, classes resource group. Now I'm choosing virtual machine region, and let's say that central US test. Yes, this is a name of virtual machine, and I'll just say that this is my development test. I'll just say that test VM01. After providing a name, I'll choose the locations, right? I have choose a location. Then I'll be providing the image whether I want to go for Linux virtual machine or Windows virtual. This time I wanted to go for Windows virtual machine. This is image is provided by Microsoft Azure. I can bring my own image that we'll see later. Now I'm deciding a size. I want to go for 2 core, 4 core, 8 core. Based on that, pricing will be get changed. I'll just go for the smallest size. I'll go for the 4 core size. I'll go for the smallest 2 core 8 GB RAM. Now I'm providing my first username and password so I can log in. I'll just provide a username called Samid and password will be my password. I'm reconfirming a password. All right. Rather than choosing that network, let me see that which network I'm available right now. So if you guys remember that which network I have created my VNet for the classes, dev VNet, this is created in US Central. Can you see that? US Central. So I'm choosing a same region for the virtual machine. I cannot choose a different region. So I'll just come to that point. So if I go here now, coming to next, this is my OS disk type. I'll choose the OS disk standard disk. All right. And if I want to attach a new data disk, I can create a new attached data disk, or if I want to create an existing disk, I can create a new existing disk. As of now, in that region, there is no existing disk is available. If I go here and look for the disk service, so all are in West US, none of them in Central US. So I cannot I cannot attach existing disk, but I can create a new disk. So I'm just creating a new disk called disk name, and I'll just keep a smaller size. change the size. I'll go for standard disk, smaller size, click OK. So now it will going to create a new disk. Then I'm deciding choosing a network. So you can see that automatically shows my network, and I can choose my two subnets which I have created, web or app. So I can choose a web subnet. After that, I'll be choosing a public IP. I'll come to those points later on. Now deploying virtual machine. So this is costing me 7 rupees per hour. So if I run virtual machine for 2 hours, that will be cost me 14 rupees. But if I run 24 by 7, that will cost me something 2000 rupees. So this is virtual machine I'm deploying. So guys, you need to also do that. Today's assignment is that you need to deploy a virtual machine. All right, you need to provide right naming convention, explore the size, create a new virtual network for yourself, right, and deploy the virtual machine. All right, so this virtual machine, you can see that data disk has been created, one data disk has been created, one public IPs has been created, one network card, this is my network card, has been created, one public IP has been created. Now it's creating virtual machine. So all the combinations become a virtual machine. So if I go here in this section, just refresh, I will see that two disks has been created. Can you see that? The naming of virtual machine disk. This is my data disk, this is my OS disk. And both will be in US Central. Are you with me, guys? Alright. Still deployment of virtual machine. Let it deploy. It hardly take 5 minutes to deploy. Don't worry. Alright, virtual machine also deployed and virtual machine is ready. And if you see that virtual machine is ready, I can see the size which I have decided, 2 core 8 GB RAM, B2MS series. There's a various series and this is my B2MS series. And if I go here in the disk section, I will see that two disks is there. One is this disk, data disk, one is the OS disk. Let me connect to this virtual machine. How do I connect? I'll copy public IP, and for connecting Windows, I'll be using remote desktop, so, and I'm putting the public IP here and click on connect. And if you guys remember, I have given some username. What was our username? Samit was a username and password was my password. So now I'm connecting this machine. So this virtual machine is initializing for user Samit. Now creating profile for user Samit. And this time I have taken up the Windows 2019 server. So this is my server edition. Okay. So let me, yep, this is server manager automatically get open. That's fine. I'll go here and look for computer, this one, what we say that, Explorer, File Explorer. And the File Explorer, I'll go here, right click, click on properties. So I'll be seeing a details of my operating system. So this is my operating system. Can you see that Windows Server 2019 data center, right? And this having a 8 GB RAM. This is 8 GB RAM which I have it. Now coming to Explorer, I see the C drive. This is my OS disk. This is my temporary disk, which we don't see in the portal, but it is automatically get attached the temporary disk. But where is my data disk? Where is my data disk? Why I cannot see here? We have attached. Yeah, we have attached a data disk. So data disk size was 32 GB. I don't see that 32 GB disk. Can you see that? This is 128 GB. This is what to 16 GB. Where's my data disk? So guys, if you remember what I said, whenever you attach a new disk, you need to create a file system. Yeah. So how do you create a file system? Yeah, we need to do partition exactly. We click on manage, and it will goes to my. We yeah we need to go for storage pool. It's a server editions. We need to go storage pool, and we'll click on disk. It is scanning a disk, and you can see that there's a 32 GB disk is there. And if you click on this 0, you see the C partition here. If it's click on this is a temporary disk, this is D partition. And if you click on what is my 32 GB disk, this doesn't have any partition. So I'll just click on create a new result, go here, do the partitioning. I'll keep it all 32 GB. I don't want to make further more partition. I'll attach the F drive here, file system, NTFS. This all we have done, right, guys? NTFS, F drive, partitioning. So this is I'm creating a partition, right? Now, if I go here, just refresh. What is my refresh button? I can see the F drive, which is 32 GB, and I'll just minimize and just see that this 132 GB disk is available now, right? And let's say that I just quickly detach from the portal. I just detach it, save it. I removed. So inside my virtual machine, it should be get removed in within few minutes. Can you see that? Right? So does it mean that this has been deleted? No, this is not being has been deleted. It is just detach it. Connection has been deleted, but virtual machine disk still available. I just refresh that page and show you that this disk still available. I can reattach it by clicking on existing disk, and I'll just click on it, save. After save, in a few minutes, I can see my disk. Can you see my disk? Right? It is just like a pen drive. You connect and disconnect. All right, guys. So let's take a break today here. Uh, we will continue from tomorrow. Your assignment for today is that you need to create a virtual machine. You need to give a right naming convention. You need to consider the location. You need to consider the virtual machine disk size, and you also need to consider your disk, additional disk, data disk, and you need to attach additional data disk, and you need to partition also. And try to keep it your data disk as a standard disk. Don't go for the premium disk. Standard disk will be let's say that it's costing you X amount. the premium disk will be cost you 3 times of X. So let's say that is costing you 100 rupees, the premium disk will cost you 300 rupees. And prefer to go smallest size. Right guys, so I'll be sending a recording in few minutes after uploading. And one important thing guys, download the recording on your laptop because I have limited space. So if I want to upload a new recording, I might require to delete the previous recording. Right? Yes. Okay. Yes. So if you guys remember that I have given you that one calculator, or what is, no, not that one. I think I have this is called subnet calculator. And the subnet calculator use the jodis. This one. This is pretty easy. So this will give you that if you go for the private IP, let's say that I'm going this private IP. If I keep it /24, so it will show me that my first IP will be 192.168.0.0 and last IP will be this one. This will be my network IP. Now I want to further divide this IP. So whenever you created a network, you need to go for higher size. If I just say the 25, so it will show me that okay, next first IP will be this and last IP will be this. For this will be my further divide of my subnet, right? The if you have the why your VNet, let me show that here itself. Okay, so I'll just have it that network called 192.168.0.0 and I put it /24. This 24 will be do the segmentation of my network range. So according to this, I'll just go 24 here. I'll have it first IP. This is will be my host first IP in my network, and the last IP will be for my network will be 254. So all subnet should be from between this IP. So how do I create a subnet? So I'll be starting from this IP range, right? This is my I'm creating a subnet. So I am starting from this IP range. I'll be starting from this range 192.168.0.0. For if you go less number, it won't be possible. I need to go for higher number. If I go for 26 and I'll go for 26 here, so it will show me that first IP will be my this, and the next IP will be last IP will be 62, right? So this is my IP range for /26. For 24 it is this one. I am for 26. Now I want to create a new subnet. So I have already consumed till the 62. So what will be my next IP range? 63, right? 192.168.0.63. 63. And I last time I have done this 26, so this time also I'll take a 26. Okay, so here I'll also come here and put it 63 and put it 26 and calculate it. So it says that first IP will be your, sorry, not 63, I'll put it 64. The reason is that one IP will get reserved for, it will be 64, not 66. Let me go on back. I'll explain that why will be it 64. One IP get reserved for they call it broadcast IP. So last IP will be reserved for broadcast IP 63. So it will be 64 and I'll go for the 26. Let me show you that at the broadcast IP. So if I go here 64/26, I'll be says that my first IP, the for network IP, that there is four types of network IP will be this. Okay, this will be my network IP. This is my network IP. Then this first IP will be my this virtual machine IP will be this, and next IP will be the last IP will be my the maximum next IP will be my 126, and that will be my minimum first, or I can say that first and last minimum maximum range, and after that there will be called broadcast network IP. So you can see that this is a broadcast network IP 127, right? Same where it will be broadcast here, that will be network. If I want to create a new subnet, the next IP range will be my 128. I can go up to the 255, 254, but 255 will be my again broadcast network IP in this network. Alright guys, so this is how I can do the subnetting. So do one thing, go on YouTube, watch today's a small video. I'll just let me see that which is the easiest video to explain that subnetting. Alright, I'll be sending you one small video. Let me see that which is a good one, and I'll explain you. I don't want to go for the in details. We don't require in details for the Azure. All right, I'll just quickly give you that which is sufficient for the Azure. Let me check it out video and give it to that recording. You can watch that. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Ravi, are you getting that? Yep. Are you getting that? What I'm explaining you? Are you understanding? All right. So this is a portal.azure.com. You need okay. Last time I okay. So this is a if you want to log into Azure, you need a Azure Cloud. If you want to access Azure Cloud, there is a way to access the cloud. What is the way? You need to log in Azure portal, portal.azure.com. Right. This will be provide you access for Azure, and here you required Alright. You require to create a one ID from the Microsoft. You can create a new ID, and after creating ID, you need to look for Azure free subscription free account. So there is a website Azure free account. All right. So here, if you click here, start free. So that will give you one 30 days trial and $200. But you required a Microsoft account. So you provide a Microsoft account here, and after that you need to provide your credit card. They will deduct only ₹1 just to verify. Any credit card, your bank credit card. So you required one credit card, any friend's credit card, anyone's credit card. They'll just required one deduct to ₹1. That's it, and they will give you $200. That is approximately 13,000 rupees, and you can deploy virtual machine on that credit. All right. Okay. See you tomorrow, guys. Ravi, if you don't get it, the how to create account, arrange a credit card. What you need to arrange? You need to arrange a credit card. All right, a credit card, a phone number. All right, Arrange these two things. Will create a free subscription trial for you tomorrow. Any friend's credit card you can take it, and that will deduct only 1 rupees, not more than 1 rupees. And sometimes they refund back 1 rupees. Don't worry too about you. Okay. All right. We'll create a free trial account for tomorrow for yourself. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Take care.